Sri Sharda Devi and her divine play, chapter 3, page 39. Someone went to Jairambati and returned with the news that the prospective bride was only 5 years old. Ramakrishna was then 24, so this was not considered an ideal match. Nonetheless, Chandramani decided to arrange the marriage. The negotiations were settled in a few days. Rameshwar paid 300 rupees for the dowry and an auspicious day was chosen for the wedding in May 1859. Swami Nikhilananda explained the mystery of this marriage. Early marriage for a Hindu girl, especially one living in a village, was not then uncommon. But such a marriage was really in the nature of a betrothal. The actual marriage took place after the wife attained maturity, when she and her husband lived together. Ramakrishna's marriage was, however, a strange one. Here was a bride in whom the consciousness of sex was not awakened and who remained free from it all through her life. And the bridegroom regarded all women as his own mother and the embodiment of the Divine Mother of the universe, an attitude which he maintained as long as he lived. At that time, because of his absorption in spiritual practices, he was oblivious of both his body and the world and was guided in every action by the Divine Mother herself, with whom he had established the most intimate relationship. Therefore, it may be presumed that in his marriage he was guided by the finger of God. It served no human purpose for either of them, but it filled a divine mission, for Sharda was destined to continue after his death his unfinished work of spiritual ministration. On the day of the wedding, the village women clothed the handsome bridegroom with a dhoti and a chadar, decorated him with dots of sandal paste on his forehead, and placed a garland around his neck. Shakhambari, Rameshwar's wife, was a little sad. Because of their poverty, they could not afford to hire a musician for the bridegroom's marriage procession. To cheer his sister-in-law, Ramakrishna imitated the sounds of a drum with his mouth and danced, slapping his hands on his hips like the village musicians. Thus he created a joyful atmosphere and everyone laughed. Rameshwar also could not afford to hire a palanquin, so Ramakrishna and his companions walked the 4 miles to Jairambati. The traditional wedding ceremony was performed in the old mud cottage of Sharda's family. To satisfy Sharda's parents and to maintain appearances, Chandra borrowed some jewellery from the wealthy Laha family for the bride to wear during the ceremony. Although Sharda's parents were poor, they tried their best to conduct the ceremony according to the scriptures. The whole family and many villagers were present. The priest repeated the mantras, and as was customary, the village women walked around the bride and bridegroom in a circle, holding 27 burning sticks. A piece of thread dyed with turmeric was tied between the groom's and the bride's wrists to symbolize the bond between two human beings. Accidentally, a burning stick burnt the connecting thread, which was extremely inauspicious. But who can change the will of Providence? Undoubtedly, marriage is a kind of bondage, but the Divine Mother destroyed that bond of ignorance and made it an extraordinary spiritual partnership. Sarada was a little girl of 5 who had almost no concept of marriage, and Ramakrishna was an illumined soul who had transcended the sense plane. When the ceremony was over, the bride's father was busy feeding the bridegroom's party. The feast was arranged in the courtyard, and Sharada's old mud cottage was prepared for the bridal chamber. According to tradition, the village women and bride's friends assembled in the bridal chamber to tease and joke with the bridegroom. Seeing so many women in that room, Ramakrishna thought of the playful Divine Mother. Immediately he began to sing a song about the Divine Mother in his melodious voice. The women were all surprised and charmed as they gazed at the bridegroom's beaming face, and they forgot to play practical jokes on him. Ramakrishna was completely possessed by a divine mood that night. Blessed are the women who witnessed the spiritual union of Hara and Gauri, Ramakrishna and Sharada. It was an unusual wedding. Jai Ma.